1 year on, we begin with a look back at the first year of the second Trump presidency from our Robert Costa.
So help me God. Congratulations.
Since President Trump took office a year ago, the news has never let up. Just consider recent weeks. An attack in Venezuela.
An assault like people have not seen since World War II.
Talk of acquiring Greenland.
I would like to make a deal of the easy way, but if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way.
A criminal investigation of the Federal Reserve chair.
This unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats.
And the fatal shooting of an American woman in Minneapolis by a federal immigration agent. Now, as we enter the second year of the second Trump presidency, we also enter the 250th year of our republic. Time to take a deep breath and take stock. Where are we as a country?
I think we're at a turning point. Most republics in history don't last 300 years, and that's because it's a really hard thing to do. It's a nation that is based on an idea rather than a shared ethnic or religious background, and that means it's going to be messy.
Well, Congress has kind of disappeared.
Historian Lindsay Chervinsky is executive director of the George Washington Presidential Library at Mount Vernon in Virginia. One of President Trump's most famous quotes is, "I alone can fix this." He has put himself at the center not only of the American presidency, but the American system.
I think the American system was never designed to be based on one person. That's really what the revolution is all about. The best administrations that we have seen, I would put Washington at the top of that list, Lincoln, FDR, Theodore Roosevelt, Dwight Eisenhower. They understood that they were better if they had Congress on their side, if they were working together to pass legislation, to make decisions that would stand the test of time because they had the buy-in of the American people through their representatives.
We're totally in control of the House. Look,
Trump has had almost total buy-in from the Republican-controlled Congress.
Buckle up.
It passed his signature legislation last year, what he called his big, beautiful bill of spending and tax cuts.
From the very beginning, Congress was always envisioned as the vital force of the government. It was the body that was going to put forth legislation. It was going to pass a budget. It established the rules for any sort of military force. It could declare war. It was supposed to be the most powerful branch, which is why it's first.
Recently, Trump told reporters his morality is the only thing that can stop him. Is President Trump testing the bounds of executive power?
President Trump is denying that there are bounds of executive power.
Washington Post columnist George Will has chronicled power dynamics for more than 50 years. You are a conservative. You have sharp criticism for President Trump and his use of power. Many Republicans, when I'm up on Capitol Hill, they privately agree with you, but they're silent. Why?
Fear. It's really simple. 435 members of the House. There are perhaps 35 competitive districts, which means that an incumbent Republican only has to fear a primary from the right, being primaried. And they all feel they are one hostile Trump tweet away from a primary challenge.
But you say the job isn't even that great these days to be a U.S. House member.
And that's why we have this really unfortunate dynamic that the very sort of people you want to stay are leaving. You want them to stay because they take the job seriously. They're leaving because they say it's not a serious job anymore.
The use of federal forces in American cities and towns, alarming to you, or just the presidency and the administration doing what they do?
But other presidencies haven't done this. Sure, when Detroit had horrible riots in the 60s, and Watts and all the rest, troops were sent in, National Guard. But no president has done what this one has done. These young men and women come in ICE dressed for combat on Iwo Jima. But the masks, why are they wearing masks? What are they hiding and from whom and why?
When President Trump came to power in 2017, he seemed almost unfamiliar at the start with where the levers of power were in the federal government. This time around, President Trump seems quite comfortable with where everything is and how to use his power.
I think he has adjusted to the presidency, and I also think, unlike in 2017, in the first year of the second Trump term, we realized that he had people around him now who understood the nuts and bolts of government.
And they've pushed things.
They have pushed things.
You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards.
That push is evident on the foreign front, where the president has pursued an aggressive policy that has been cheered by domestic allies, but rattled allies abroad.
He came in this time really keen to be president to the world, not just to Americans. He's coming to it with what his supporters call masculine foreign policy.
Vivian Salama covers foreign affairs for The Atlantic. 7 years ago, she and colleagues revealed President Trump had designs on Greenland.
Bob, I thought it was a joke.
You thought it was a joke back then, but not now.
It certainly is not a joke now. And in fact, we know that there are serious policy discussions happening at the State Department and the White House and elsewhere in the government where the wheels are very much in motion to try to figure out how best to make this happen.
Venezuela, Russia and Ukraine, China, Taiwan, Iran, the list goes on and on. In this year, what perhaps could be the most vexing issue for President Trump in the world?
President Trump still has the Ukraine-Russia war hovering over him. Remember, on the campaign trail, he promised to solve it before he even took office. He said it would take 24 hours.
Seems a little harder than that.
It is a little harder than that. Governing is hard, Bob. Governing is actually hard, and diplomacy is even harder, and especially when you're dealing with someone like Vladimir Putin, who was a shrewd KGB agent and knows how to manipulate his adversaries. And this is what President Trump is realizing, and he says this is a hard one, and I thought it was going to be easy, but it's hard.
Another hard one, this year's midterm elections. The economy will be issue number one, and who controls Congress could determine the future of Trump's presidency. And the president remains at the center of it all, leaving us all wondering what comes next. Historian Lindsay Chervinsky.
It seems like we're living in history almost every week with the Trump presidency.
Yes, we're definitely living through a historic time. I personally like writing about historic times. I think I'd be okay living in a boring moment for a little while. Those living through the Revolution or the Civil War understood that they were living through a historic moment. And I think that is true of this moment. We can feel that history is being made. We're just not exactly sure what future generations are going to say about us.